Hi, it's Babette. Welcome to the Foreignpreneur, a place to be if you're building and growing your business in a foreign country. And today I have two very special guests, Perth power couple from Germany, who have built up a very successful business. And let's hear how they did it. Verena and Heiner, welcome to the show. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us. Yeah.
So please tell us what brings you to Perth, Western Australia?
Well, we started on the East Coast really, and just not everywhere in Australia. We just traveled for a while and looked where we liked it. We just wanted to find the perfect spot for us, and Perth felt good. And then we stayed for a while, and then we decided that it is the place for us to stay.
That was in end of 2012.
Yeah.
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 That's when we arrived here.
In Perth, yeah.
And then we had a holiday in Germany and came back, and we just never left. All the other places we always left again because we traveled around for almost 2.5 years. Right. And we lived here, there, we lived in a lot of beautiful places, but something was always missing. It was either that the whole environment was beautiful, but there weren't any jobs, or there were a lot of jobs, but the town wasn't really great. So it was always something that after a while we went, okay, let's pack up and go again. And in Perth, we never left. We're still here because we like it. It's a bit of the perfect mixture in between having a big city, because Verena likes the big city because she's from Berlin originally. I'm from a small town, close to a small town. So you get the idea. I like it when it's not that big city life. And here is the only city we've ever lived in where we've got a city, but it feels like a town. Mm-hmm. So we're both happy with it.
Plus you've got everything here. You know, you've got the big city life. You've got the outback right in front of your doorstep. You've got the remoteness.
Yeah.
And
the Indian Ocean right on your doorstep as well. Yeah. It's beautiful.
That's a big bonus, isn't it?
It is.
How did you guys start this business? Did you start it together?
We did.
Yeah.
When was that?
In
2015.
15, yes, 2015. We started it in a very small way from home, as with Heiner as a mobile auto electrician, really. Mm-hmm. So he would just go to the customers and do the job wherever they were. Mm-hmm. Had a few really interesting spots that he worked in, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You always knew if it would be successful, it would be cool at some stage to bring it into a workshop. But it took us about 3 years. We did the mobile business. Mm-hmm. Then we started a parts shop as an online parts shop on the side, all operating out of our house and garage here in Bassendean, where we lived back then. Yeah. And at some stage we got the opportunity to rent this place where we are at right now. And it's really exploded a bit ever since we moved in here.
Absolutely exploded. So obviously I know you guys because my partner is into four-wheel driving. I am too. I'm saving up for a BT50, like a dollar a day. I will get there one day, so I will be here to deck that out. But so he just told me like wonderful things about you, both of you, that is just respond to the emails immediately. And of course the end result of what you did on his car was he was just showing me, look at this, it's just perfect, there is nothing sticking out, it's just absolutely beautiful. I was like, yeah, what am I looking at? Oh, it's a car. Yeah, but now I understand a little bit more, so it's absolutely amazing. And then of course I checked out your website, and your Google reviews are just mind-blowing. It's all 5-star reviews, and everybody is just singing your praises. So obviously you're doing something very well. What would you contribute your success to?
I think a big part of it, it is a good question. I think a big part of it is that, so customer service is very big part of it. Yeah. We do put our customers first, and that was always something that, like, we do that from our heart because we actually want to make people feel safe, especially as a woman. I can say going to a mechanic or electrical workshop, it's not always an easy task because getting taken seriously is not always the case. You would have probably have made that experience before. And it's certainly not a pleasant, it's not a pleasant experience usually. So from the beginning on, that was something that we both agreed on. This is something that we do not want for our customers. We want them to feel safe. We want them to not be insecure about what's going to happen to their car or what they're going to have to pay in the end or things like that, like all the fears that customers come in with. So we thought, okay, this is something that we want to do differently. So how can we do this? So we made a concept of how we can make sure that that doesn't happen to our customers and how we can, accommodate that. So I think that is one part, and then there is the actual work that Heine does.
Yeah, for me it was always very important that every job is done 120% right. It's not even 100% right. I wouldn't be happy with that. It has to be in a way that we said we're going to do it like that, but then we're still going to do it better when we actually do it. So that when somebody comes in and gets his job back, they look at it and go, wow, this is better than I thought it would be. So for me, if we, for example, work on a Toyota, that goal is that our electrical installation is better than anything that is already in the car. That is sort of the aim, the goal that we work towards.
Well, that's lucky that you actually have the experience, so you know what you're doing. That sort of helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that contributes to it, definitely.
I couldn't do that. No. Brilliant. So tell me about your experience, because you have quite an impressive CV or like resume, if you will.
Thank you.
Where did you work before?
I started out as an apprentice for Mercedes-Benz back in Germany, and I did my auto electrical apprenticeship there. Worked for a dealership, a relatively big, prestigious dealership where customer service was absolutely non-negotiable. There was the rule about customer service that everything had to be absolutely spot on. There was also a rating system in Germany about Mercedes-Benz dealerships where you got certain stars. And that dealership in particular had a 5-star rating, which meant you get your car cleaned. It's all these little things being taken care of. And I was always very impressed by that. That was, I think, where I got my first introduction to what customer service means, where customers are seriously being taken care of from the beginning to the end. So I think I learned a lot there in regards of the customer service and how you treat your customers, but also a lot in depth about the technology itself, because it was always cutting edge with Mercedes-Benz. But I was never satisfied with the amount of things I did learn over there. So for example, we took control units out of cars, and I never understood why they broke. And I could take them apart and look at them and was like, wow, I got no idea what's in there. I got no idea what might be broken. I just know I get another box and put it in there. And at a certain stage, I was like, all right, I have to figure out what's happening. And so I thought I have to go back to school, because I was never big at school before. And I spent my 4 years at the university studying automotive mechatronics, which is like robotics, but for cars. And I did get a lot of in-depth knowledge there about what is actually happening in these little boxes that I didn't understand before. And then I worked throughout the electronics, not just electronics, also automotive, also heating industry. So I had a few different jobs. For example, I worked for Stiebel Eltron as an embedded software engineer, and I did program microcontrollers and build electronics. Then I worked for a company that worked for Volkswagen. It's like the software department of Volkswagen. That also works for Airbus, and I developed software systems that could find faults in themselves. I did write algorithms for VW about fuel injection on diesel engines, GPS systems for another company. So there were a fair few things.
Yeah, okay, stop it.
And then I came to Australia, and then I had enough. Like when I left Germany, I knew I needed a change, because I was sitting behind a desk and it was going all right, but I wasn't happy with it. There was always something missing. I wanted to do something with my hands again. And when we started traveling around Australia, I found out that you can have a pretty good life as an auto electrician over here. And in particular, with traveling around, I could just go when we arrived at another town and ask at auto electric workshops and go, do you guys need a casual for a few days, for a few weeks or something like that. And they would usually go, yeah, just come back tomorrow. There's this and that and this and that. So there would always be a job to pick up somewhere. And then I worked for Caterpillar after a while. And then I worked for another company called Wirtgen that was back here in town. I did do the fly in, fly out stuff for a while to a mine site. I wasn't such a big fan of the lifestyle, so I stopped after a while again. And yeah, at some stage then, yeah, we started this.
So this was pretty much like the perfect continuation, because obviously with all of your experience and knowledge, that to me it sounds like nobody even comes close to you and to your how you guys are running the business and your knowledge. So it was the perfect thing for you to do, start a company. What else? Wasn't it? So how did that come about?
We always hoped it was that.
Yeah, I think, it's not like we went in there and went like, yep, this is going to work. I think we were like, let's try.
Yeah,
let's see
what happens.
How we can do the very least expensive setup that we can do, so that we can always pull out if it doesn't work. And that's how we started. That's why we started it from home. You know, I was just there on my desk doing the invoices. Heine would call me and go, can you do this? And so I would do it.
Yeah, an invoice.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we've got an invoice. We've got a customer.
Yeah.
So
while you were still looking after Skylar, our daughter, at the time as well. So Verena was at home together with Skylar. So it was cool that she could work from home, because she would have a few hours a day that she could spend for work. So that worked really well that way.
Good.
Yeah.
So you agreed to starting a company straight away? You supported? Or whose idea was it first?
That's a good question. See, with us, we never really know. I think in general, it's the same thing when you go, whose idea was it to come to Australia?
It was a process, really. There are a lot of conversations, and then one thing led to another, and there are probably micro steps, really.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, and in the end, it's hard to say who had the first tiny idea that led to a lot of others.
Doesn't matter, probably.
Yeah, I think with that, it's a lot about just the conversation and going, just checking, is this going to work? You know, thinking things through, thinking, can we afford this? Especially because we didn't start with a lot of money. We started this business with no money, really.
We sold our camper. That was the start
True.
money that we had.
Yeah, we had an old camper. Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, painful.
But we couldn't fit. We had Skylar, and that was a 2-seater camper. And it was like, okay, that is not going to work anymore, because we had a troop carrier with the whole setup, with the high roof that we bought off a camper rental company here in Australia. And we kitted that out, and it was great for the two of us, but completely not usable for a small family.
No.
So it had to go anyway, and then we took that money and started the business with it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, and how is it going now?
Very different from how we started. So we moved in here about, it's actually 2 years, I think, this month that we've been in this workshop and in this shop front. So it started out just the two of us with a little bit of stock, as much as we could afford to keep in here. And you know, a lot of the mobile customers that we had were happy to come here, and we would still do the mobile as well. So in the beginning, we still did both, because we had to accommodate whatever customers we had. And I think it's a good location to be in, and it was good word of mouth. So people started coming in, and we started getting regular customers, companies as well that we deal with, and that we help with fault finding and things like that. It just went from there, and then eventually it got to the point where we knew Heine needed another person in the workshop. So we got our first employee, which was about
a bit more than a year, 3 months ago or something like that.
And it kind of exploded from there, and now we're at 6 employees.
Nice.
And it can be quite busy in here during the day.
Yeah. Especially if I think back to the first days, I think we had weeks where we might have had 1 or 2 people walking in here, and that was pretty much about it. We still had jobs in the workshop, but the shop itself was, Verena would sometimes be in here and chat with me while I was doing the jobs in the workshop, because
there was nothing else
nothing to do really in the beginning. And now you hardly find time to breathe in here because it's always busy. There's always people coming and going and questions here, questions there, the telephone's ringing. So it has changed a lot in a year, really. I think it's the last year where things went from, yeah, we're cool, we've got one person helping me, we've got the shop here, it's like a steady thing, to it went through the roof and it's got extremely busy.
And you have your own product line, which is like a distribution logic board or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
right.
that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, sort of. So it's completely another business entity. So and we do that, or Heine does that together with Andrew White from 4X Overland, and they're really good in thinking about what customers would like and what's not on the market yet, because they know the market. And Heine has got the knowledge of how to build things like that and how it could work. And Andrew has got good ideas and a good way of knowing how to show the world what the products are. So
and it's always brilliant to bounce ideas off him, because he will go, oh, that will be good for camping. I can see that working, because he's got probably all the camping experience in the world, because he's done it pretty much all his life. And I've got a lot of ideas, and then we start bouncing ideas off each other, and there is always something fruitful coming out of that. That's how the circuit board, the DC hub, and then the whole brand, we're developing more products for that at the moment as well, that will sort of go in line with the DC hub that we've already got. And we called that Egan. That is a brand name and a company name as well now for that. And we're trying to get more products out there.
Brilliant. So do you guys like four-wheel driving? Do you go camping?
Yes,
we do
sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's something obviously that not a lot of people do in Europe. My partner always asks me, so is four-wheel driving big in Europe? And I said, well, not really, because you drive 5Ks or 10Ks and you're in another city.
Yeah.
It's not like here or in South Africa. Obviously you can go for hours and days, so it is very different. So how has your lifestyle changed here in Australia compared to Germany?
Oh, 150%, if that's possible. The lifestyle changes. I mean, forward driving is one bit, but I think the main thing is the freedom that you have in this country. Like I in comparison to what you can do in Germany, work-wise, business-wise, but also as in moving around. It's so easy over here. It's so easy to explore and to be free in any way. Like that's what makes Australia absolutely amazing for me. That you can, like the first few years that we spent here, we just explored. We looked at everything. We went to this town and then, oh, should we try? Oh, I've heard that this is supposed to be a nice place. Okay, let's go there. Let's have a look.
And we lived in cars for weeks and months on end. So we camped for almost 2.5 years. We lived in houses in between as well. So if we would stay in towns, we would rent a place eventually if we had jobs and stuff like that. But a lot of times we would just, for a long time, we lived out of your old GQ Patrol with
the good Patrol. I love that car.
With just a mattress in the back and the absolute most basic camping setup.
Very basic.
A battery that would run out of power every night, and the fridge would get warm all the time. And it was really basic, and we did the Kimberleys with that.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
It's possible. It's very possible, especially when you're in your 20s and you don't care. And you've got no money. So it's amazing that you can afford the fuel to get there,
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So, yeah.
And it was more about the free time that we got from it. So it was like, all right, let's get some more money somewhere until we go like, that's at least 4 weeks, let's go. And then see what happens afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have enough money, let's go. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. And now that you have a daughter?
Obviously that part is not there anymore, but I think we are very lucky that we were able to do that before having her. So for me, now the thought of living in the back of my car with a warm fridge, not so appealing anymore.
No.
But I would never want to miss that experience. It was absolutely brilliant. But now I think what I think one of the main differences between living here and living in Germany I think for both of us, is the way that people interact with each other. Over here, I remember when I came to Australia in the beginning and we were traveling around and we would stop somewhere and, probably set up camp for the night. And then someone would walk up to us. It would usually take a few minutes and then someone would walk up to us. And I still had that German thinking of, oh, we're going to be told off about something. Okay, he's going to tell us something. We would park the wrong way, or you're not allowed to do this.
Somewhere or
like that. And I noticed, and they always came over and were like, so where are you going? And just interested in general and like just really friendly and always happy to help. And so we had extremely good experiences, and it was amazing how long it took for that thinking to switch over. Now when someone comes over, I'm actually like, hello, straight away. Like I'm happy to, And before it was more like, okay, what do they want? So
yeah. And it's like if you would ask somebody in Germany at the cashiers in the supermarket how they are going, they would go, what do you want from me?
What? That's none of your business.
Oh my God. I told my partner, obviously he's Australian, when we are in Europe, he just goes, Tesco checkout or something. Hey, how you going? And then people are just looking at him like, and then they look at me like, what does he want? Is he normal? And I tell him, you don't talk to the cashier. And he's like, why not? Like, they are here. Obviously, I'm just trying to be polite. And not just polite, just be happy and friendly and sort of make their day. For him, it's so strange. He looks at me the same strange way as I look at him like, why are you talking to the cashier? You're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
We don't do that. But then when we stay in one place for a longer time, say in Budapest, and the cashier gets used to him, they're actually super happy to, oh, there's the crazy Australian. He's gonna say something funny. But so it is just so strange, and there was such a huge difference, a cultural difference.
Yeah.
So Australia is notoriously difficult to migrate to. Obviously, you need a visa at some kind of visa. How did you guys manage to get one?
So we, back in Germany still, we applied for the permanent residency, which was only possible to apply for because Heine had, like, the job was shortlisted.
Yeah, I was on a priority short skills list as my engineering degree was also comparable as an electronics engineer visa, because mechatronics engineering didn't really exist that much over here, but they said like your mechatronics engineering degree is like an electronics engineering degree, and we need a lot of people with electronic skills. So we were lucky enough that together with Verina's social degree skill set, which was also on some sort of list, I can't quite remember, but our points were then high enough together with the English test that we could apply for a permanent residency from Germany. So when we came over 3.5 years later, after we started applying, we had our permanent residency already. Because we always knew that if we go over and we can't stay for whatever reason, we're going to be absolutely devastated. So we thought, no, we do this properly. We get all the paperwork in line, and then we sold everything that we had and just came over with 2 20-kilogram backpacks and a bank account, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that was all we had.
Brilliant. So you always knew, you had this dream, we're going to Australia, even though it took 3.5 years. Holy.
Yeah.
And you just, no, we're going. This
Yeah.
is a...
Yeah.
It's actually, the dream was a lot older than that.
Yeah.
We had, independently from each other, we wanted to go. For me, it was never sure if it was New Zealand or Australia. And when I met Verina and we dated in the beginning and saw each other the first times, at some stage it was like, my plan is at some stage I want to get away from here. I don't want to live in Germany forever. I'm Australia and New Zealand, I'm not sure, but definitely not here. And then it was like, me too.
Oh.
So, and it was, at that stage, we'd never been over here. It was, friends of mine had spent their work and holiday time over here, but there was always something, I don't know, like, that place must be sort of special. It's like, there was always, I think we're both drawn to Australia for reasons that we don't even really understand. But there was always something like, oh, that place must be cool.
And it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It absolutely is, to be honest. It's a lot more amazing, if that's a word, than I would have expected it to be. And I dreamt of this for years, probably since I was 16. It was like, oh, coming to Australia, you know, the land of the kangaroos. Ooh. And then getting here was like, yeah, wow, it's even better.
How have you always felt speaking English with an accent? Well, your accent is like non-existent, so I don't know how you did that. That is just wonderful. But
you.
for most foreigners, the biggest obstacle is that I have an accent. Most of us, we all have an accent. Some people embrace it and they're proud of it because this is cool, it's part of my identity. How do you feel about having an accent?
We'll look over to you because you've
Yeah,
got
I'm just answering it. You
So I'm
probably
not saying
not
that I
at
don't
all
have
because but yours is almost non-existent. It's
Oh,
really
but
almost
I
nothing.
get asked, but I'm not being picked as German.
Yeah,
but
true.
people hear that I'm not Australian, obviously.
For me, I think the beginning was really hard because in the beginning I felt like somebody has taken my capability of conversation away because I wasn't that I did not speak English that well, so it was hard for me. Look, just basic conversation is not a problem, but you know when you want to sit down with somebody and just have a chat while you have a beer or something like that, I felt like, oh, there's so many things I want to say, but I just can't because I'm just lacking the words, and that was the hard part. Now at the moment I know I've got an accent. Sometimes I'm not being picked as German. It doesn't happen too often though. But then it's usually that I'm being asked if I'm from South Africa or from the Netherlands sometimes. But most of the time I'm not aware about it. I just speak as I do, and I'm just happy that I can actually have these conversations again. So for me, it's like, yeah, there might be an accent, all right, but I can say what I want to say, and I know the other side will understand what I want to say, and that is for me, that's like bottom line. That's cool. I've got my capability of speaking back, so I'm happy about that.
Very good. So how do you think Australians perceive you?
It's viewed as a very positive thing, especially in working places. Like, you're German, yep, you can start tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
I know that there's a lot of people who come from other countries that struggle a lot because of their accent, because of where they're from, because there is a lot of prejudice. There's absolutely no question about it. It's there, and you can feel that. I think we were just lucky that we're from a country where that prejudice is a very positive one.
Which is very different from
The rest of
living back
Europe.
in Europe, because in Europe it's not such a positive thing if you say that you're from Germany.
Absolutely not.
Especially in the neighbor countries of Germany, because there's still a lot of history lingering around. A lot of people still go, oh, Germany.
It's funny, like when we arrived here, when people ask me, so where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Germany. Like, I was actually apologetic about it because that's what I was used to in Europe when traveling. It was like, so where are you from? Germany. Oh
no.
It's like, but I'm not like that.
And then it was people's reaction just astonished. Like, I found them really astonishing because they went like, oh, Germany, wow, I love Germany. Oh, I've been to Berlin, or I've done this. And it's still the reaction from people. So yeah, I think for us, it's more an opportunity of anything.
So have you heard any sort of funny cliches, like stereotypes about Germans that sort of make you laugh?
Yeah, Germans are not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not understand.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things, being really serious, I guess. And yeah, honestly, being hardworking, like it's a big one that people just think, oh, you're German, okay, yeah.
Precision, punctuality.
Absolutely, yeah, all of those cliches. Drink a lot of beer.
Yeah,
you know, wear funny clothing, so they always think that we're all from Bavaria, which is just the southern part of Germany.
That's actually true, yeah.
And no one up north would ever put on the leather pants or those other, unless they go down to the Oktoberfest. Yeah. But other than that, we wear normal clothes. So, and it's very funny that people perceive that southern bit of Germany to be, that's the whole. Yeah. So, yeah.
That one from Germany. I think that the Bavarian one that you just said, that is probably the main one, because a lot of people has asked me about if I wear lederhosen and that sort of stuff. So I was like, when I was 3, my parents made me, and I hated every last second of it.
And your daughter, so has she been back?
She has.
Yeah.
She's been in Germany twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shall you ask her what she thought about Germany and the German language?
Sure.
So, before with your parents, we were just talking about Germany. Have you been to Germany?
Yes, and when that happened, I was a little kid.
Oh, how old were you?
I think 2 or 3.
Oh, so do you remember much?
I remember it was on Christmas Eve.
Beautiful. Was it any different Christmas there than here? Was it warmer?
No, it was cold at the morning. I could for my life see little bits of snow.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, and do you speak German?
Yes, at home every single day. When we're alone here, we speak German too.
Oh, that's great. Can you tell us your name in German?
Mein Name ist Skylar.
And how old are you in German?
6.
Beautiful. I know for some people it is a bit difficult to keep up the native language at home, especially after they went to school. How do you deal with that? You just always talk in German?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've done that from the beginning. So in the beginning, I think for the first 2 years when Skylar was little, we only ever talked German to her. We never switched, ever.
Even when we were somewhere else, because we wanted to manifest that we only talk German with each other, so that Skylar would stick with the German.
Yeah.
So that she could learn it from bottom up, really. And now we've changed that. We talk English now in public, pretty much. But as soon as it's just us or other Germans, we would just straight switch back to German. And then at home we only speak German with each other.
Yeah. And was there a point where you maybe thought that she might get confused, like what language to use when?
No.
Brilliant.
No, I never
That's
did.
very lucky.
There was a cool situation. I think Skylar was 2 years old at Katja's party. There was a girl from England and a girl from Germany sitting next to each other, and Skylar talked to both of them and just switched. And Verena and I were just looking at her and we're like,
Effortlessly?
wow. And I think she wasn't even aware of it. It just happened like that.
Yeah.
Can you remember that one? No?
No, she was really little, yeah. I think, you need to give your kids the chance to do it, because as a child, it's the easiest time to learn a language. It absolutely is. And if you teach your kid another language, it's a gift that they'll have their whole life.
Okay, one last question. If you could give advice to your 10 years younger self, what would it be? Also, an advice that you would give to other foreigners moving to a new country. What would you tell?
Don't think so much about it, just do it. Seriously, don't plan so many things. Like, we planned a lot and it could have been a lot easier. So, I mean, it was a way of, we plan everything and we can make sure this and that happens. But so if you want to do that, I would say just make the decision and then just find the quickest way of doing it. And then just get there first and then figure the rest out while you're there. Because you will learn so many new things that you did not even know that existed before. So your horizon is just going to explode and you go, all right, so I can do this as well, or that. I didn't know that before. So I think the advice would be, don't overthink it, just do it and then figure it out as you go.
It's funny, I would have actually said something very similar to that. So to a German person or anyone from countries that are like that, I would actually say exactly that. Just let go. Let go of what you think needs to be. Just explore and actually look at it. Try to get your barriers away. Everything that you think that things need to be a certain way. To someone from a different country like Italy or Spain or something like that, I would probably go, just at least plan how you get there. And then just do your thing. But Yeah, I think in general, yeah, depending on where you're from, but the relaxing part definitely helps. I think there's one thing, Australia's magic. It really is. And when you get here, you can only see that if you let go. In regards to starting your own business, I think Australia is a country that makes it very, very easy for you to do that. If you've got a good idea and a good concept, you know, there's really nothing holding you back.
And I've found another thing with a business as well. If you are good at something, and especially if you're passionate about it, if it is something that you do, not just because it's a job, but because you would otherwise do it anyway. Like me, I've only started this working on four-wheel drives because I was working on four-wheel drives anyway, for myself. And now I'm in the lucky position that I can work on four-wheel drives all the time, but I'm getting paid for it. And I don't have to spend my own money all the time, just because I want to build something. So, and I think if you got a certain passion about things and you put that into your business, and you're not doing the business just because you want to make some money, but you just sincerely enjoy doing what you're doing, I think you cannot fail. Unless you're extremely bad at economical decisions, but then you should just get somebody for that.
Brilliant advice, guys. Thank you so much for your time and for the advice. And I will be back with my own BT50.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. It was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.